Decent, you there?
Good afternoon.
Okay, we're good. Okay, cool. I'd like to welcome everyone. Thanks for making it. So, I'm Lost Boy, Lucifer, Decent. And yeah, we're just gonna jump right in today. Decent, you want to say anything before we kick off?
It's a big day. Really excited about the opening ceremony. But yeah, I guess we'll talk about that soon.
Okay, perfect. So, actually, Decent, if you want to get into it, you've been kind of holding the reins there, so I think you can maybe start it.
Yeah, for sure. So, the fire ritual ended a couple of days ago now, which was great. We've had $4 million of frax sacrificed into the Treasury as planned. We've had around almost 500 fire ritualists participate, but that's only a tiny fraction of the community. Really, really tiny fraction. And the idea of the opening ceremony is, of course, to give everyone an opportunity to enter the temple. There's been a lot of talk in the channels around, is this actually a public launch, or is this another exclusive pre-sale version 2? And it's a really good question, but the answer is it's definitely not another pre-sale, because a pre-sale has a limited number of people that are allowed to participate, and it has a limited amount of dollars that you're allowed to participate with. But it's also not your standard public launch either. This isn't as simple as dropping into uni, buying Temple, and away you go. You can do that. You can buy Temple on uni soon, and you can stake it. But if you want the cheapest price of Temple and the full APY rate, then you need to complete the opening ceremony. And the opening ceremony ritual is available for everyone. There is no cap. There is no limit to the number of people that can participate. It's unlimited, unconstrained. There's no filter. Everyone can get involved. Everyone can buy Temple. So in that sense, we feel that it really is the public launch. It's just a very Temple public launch. The way that you must complete the opening ceremony is to go through a ritual to enter the temple in the proper manner. And this will be difficult for the first people because there'll be some puzzles, there'll be some challenges, there'll be a journey, a pilgrimage that you'll have to go on. But the ritual itself is pretty straightforward. Once the very smart Templars have cracked the code, and I don't expect that will take too long, then I expect the hints will start creeping out. The word will spread about how to complete the ritual, and it will become increasingly easy for anyone to jump into Discord and figure out how to get it done. And in that way, we've kind of spread out and rewarded people that are, really engaged and really want to jump on the ritual quickly. But at the same time, we've made it completely open access for anyone. So this is a very unusual public launch process, but it is very much a process that anyone can get involved in. Anyone can buy a temple. You just have to take the journey into the temple. Maybe I'll pause there for now.
Yeah, Decent. Just one thing. Your mic is clipping a little bit. You can hear you, but I don't know if it just clips. The sound clips a little bit. Maybe your input's too high, or maybe you're too close to the mic.
Thanks. Does that sound a little better?
No, it still clips.
Might be your game. Your game might be too high.
Your voice is so funny. Yeah, so while Decent's working on that, I think everyone understood what he said. I could hear it. But yeah, it's a very Temple style version of a public launch because it's open to the public, but you have to complete the ritual. So, which is similar for those of you who have participated in the fire ritual. That was kind of a small version, and we have a much bigger version this time. So yeah, we're excited to show that. So descend. Let's hear your voice again.
Yeah, how do I sound?
Keep talking.
Same or a little different?
Yeah, it keeps clipping actually. Still clips. Yeah. If you want to jump off and chat with someone and try to fix it, I can stay busy here for a few minutes. Yeah. Okay, so while he's fixing his mic, yeah, if you guys have any questions, Deeson's really going to introduce like what's happening with the opening ceremony, how it's going to work. But let's see here, text channel. Okay, any questions? Let's see here. Yeah, so what's going to happen? So one of the things that's going to happen is we're going to migrate the staking contract from the original one to the new one. Probably because we've evolved what we're doing a lot here, is because there's some of the topics with Discord on chain and all that. But it'll be a simple procedure. Like anyone that was part of the fire ritual will just have to move over to a new contract. No big deal. And for those who want to access more temple tokens, right, you'll have to complete the ritual. So that's part of the game, is that when we open things up, the opening ceremony is going to start. It's kind of a play to access kind of model, right? So yeah, quite simple in the sense that for those of you that can complete the ritual and figure it out, yeah, you're good to go. And there's going to be a daily cap on how much each ritual completion can get, right? So what's going to happen is that when you complete the ritual, you will have access to more incense, right? And those incense will be a pretty large amount, actually, that you can sacrifice that day. And if you want to sacrifice more than that, the next day it's going to double. And then the next day it's going to double again. And that'll double for 5 days. And on the 5th day, it's a pretty large amount at that point. It'll just stay steady for that amount, right? So yeah, that'll be that way you people access. So if someone wants to put a lot, they'll just have to keep coming back every day, right? They'll have to complete the ritual and come back every day. And one of the ways that we wanted to do this was because the way that the harvest mechanism works. Oh, did the audio go? No, I'm still there, right? The way that the harvest mechanism works is that, the OTC price goes up, and you guys can hear it go. The OTC price goes up, and the intrinsic value goes up with every harvest, right? And so if we have a daily cap, it just allows everyone to have access at basically a fair price, So we wanted to avoid, like, if someone came in and had a large purchase, right? We wanted to avoid that front running everyone else. So this daily cap and it doubling every day is the mechanism that we've built to kind of enforce that. So it allows both people to win. So people that are there on the first day, will get access at the same price as like a whale. But the whales will be able to keep coming back for many days, right, if they want, and that way that they can fill their whole request, right? So we thought that was the fairest way of doing it and putting it that way. And what else? And yeah, like for people that buy on the AMM, because we're gonna launch a liquidity pool, that's right. So people will be able to buy temple tokens without completing the ritual, right? However, there's benefits to completing the ritual, right? Like for example, some of the rewards, and there's a few things we'll announce in the Medium post. But if you just buy on the AMM, it's not as advantageous for you if you do it that way versus going through the temple and the ritual process. So, and yeah, the purpose of the opening ceremony is to basically have a public launch, because at the moment, there's only been 470 people that, have like minted and staked temple tokens, right? And we have like 17,000 people in Discord, right? So very small percentage. And so the opening ceremony is a way to make that available to everyone that wants to be part of the temple. And Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. And so, is the price the same for everyone on the opening, or will it increase every day like the ritual? Yeah, so the price will increase every day, but like we said, there's a cap, right, for each person. So let's say, like using simple numbers, like 1,000 people complete the ritual on the first day. They'll all have like access to pretty much the same price, right? But then the next day, that 1,000 people can come back, and if they want to buy more, they can, but the price will have increased, right? In the same way that the fire ritual goes up. And it's not a huge increase, right? Like if you guys watch the price change during the fire ritual, it's not like it doubled every day or anything, right? So you'll have the same kind of mechanism, like a slow, gradual increase. You guys are talking dirty, right? And yeah, you'll use Frax to sacrifice, same thing. The AMA will not launch today. Bullish on bad mic. And yeah, so the plan is to publish the opening ceremony Medium post, right, very quickly. We published one last night on the liquidity, and the next one in line is the opening ceremony that'll have the details. So all this is going to happen pretty fast. And yeah, Descend's really more on the product side of things, so he'll have more to share exactly on the mechanisms and things, but happy to field some questions here. How much is initial? Yeah. Well, I'll publish exactly on the Medium post, but it's probably going to be something like 30, right? So let's see, if it is 30, we might change it up and down a bit, but it'll be 30, then 60, then 120, 240, 480 kind of thing. So is there a rebel? So auto compound. So Frax, there may be an option to zap another token into it. I don't think that's totally launched yet, but that may be an option. So other than Frax, you may be able to zap other stable coins or ETH. We haven't really finalized that yet, but so one thing I do want to talk about, because it's more my area, and Dee's going to get back more into the opening ceremony, would be the Enclave. So those of you, we just started organizing Discord in the Enclave model, right? So I think everyone can see, if you scroll down, there's the first few channels open for the Enclave. So the way that people can join Enclaves is going to happen. Okay, wait, Descend is back.
Hey guys.
Let's hear it. Keep talking.
This is as best as we could get it today for some reason. How does it sound?
No, it's better. It's good. So, okay. I'm going to backlog the Enclave stuff. Descend, you can jump back into opening ceremony. I was just talking. Were you listening? I just talked about a couple of things.
Awesome. No, I didn't catch it.
I was just talking about the daily cap and the contract migration and the yeah. I'll jump in if you touch on the same things, but I just went over a few things.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So we were talking about the nature of this being a public launch, but a very unusual one, and that it is unlimited in terms of the number of people that can participate. The price, there's a good question that's come through here. What will the starting price be? The starting price is exactly as it has left off after the fire ritual. And this is because our price for the token is set by the harvest function. And so because there has been no further money that's flowed into Treasury since the end of the fire ritual, the price is the same. But as money flows into Treasury, because people have completed the opening ceremony and they have sacrificed Frax at the altar and they have received staked temple, then that means the price will rise. So the sooner you complete the opening ceremony, the lower the price. So there is incentive for getting in early. There is incentive for completing the ritual quickly. Where should we go? Where should we go next?
Yeah,
More questions that people have.
Let's think about it. talked about the cat per day. Yeah, what questions do you guys have? We can get them that way.
Okay, there's a question here. Does early stakers need to do something, and which platform Temple will be available without doing the opening ceremony? Yeah, so Fire Ritual people will be able to roll over without completing the opening ceremony if they just want to maintain and continue their excellent APY. But if you want to, is Lost Boy male or female? Yeah, we're not sure. We're not sure. But if you want to increase the number of temple you earn, then you need to complete the opening ceremony to buy more temple. But you can, of course. Where's the gender reveal? If you want to buy on AMM, you're welcome. But it is unlikely to be the cheapest price, and we can talk about that. We can talk about that soon.
Yeah. Well, I think going into that, I think you can go into that a little more. I touched on that, saying that there would be benefits to completing the ritual versus buying on the AMM. So I don't know how much detail you want to share about that, but I think that's a good topic.
Yeah, awesome. So, how much IQ do you need to complete the riddle? Well, you need some good IQ to complete it if you want to be the first person to complete the ritual. But if you get help from the community, no problem. The ritual is actually very simple. It's just going to be hard to figure out how to do it as the first person. So, if you ask the temple, I'm sure you'll find people in the temple that are willing to help you, and you're going to make it. So that's right. It's really quite simple, this whole setup. It seems a little complex, but what it really is it's just different. And let me explain. It's super simple. So this is our public launch. This is the opening of the temple. If you participate in the ritual, at the very end of that process, and this ritual process will take you from Discord, it'll take you onto a sidechain on Polygon. The ritual is implemented on Polygon so that gas is super cheap, of course. And you'll complete the ritual, and at the end of the ritual, you'll end up with an ERC20 token, which is the Sandalwood token. That Sandalwood token can be bridged across the mainnet, and it's the key to unlocking your ability to sacrifice Frax and also other stable coins, because we now have a zapping contract in place that can be zapped straight to Frax, so that Frax can be added to the Treasury. So the ritual is a process that you take in order to get your sandalwood, and you need sandalwood incense in order to sacrifice Frax in the temple. So the ritual is on Poly, but temple itself, the actual staking and that sort of thing, that is on mainnet. But the ritual itself is all on Poly. So that's it. It's really just, you got to get some incense and you take it to the temple and you offer some Frax. Simple. Now, if you want to not complete the ritual and you don't want to burn any incense and you just want to buy some temple, well, that's fine. You can go to the AMM, you can buy it, and you can stake it. But of course, if you just stake it without being blessed by the gods, you're not going to get the cheapest price, because the cheapest price is going to be on the protocol, and you're not going to get the full APY, because that's reserved for the most faithful Templars, which is anyone that brings some incense to the temple. So all you got to do is bring some incense and stake, and you'll be in the temple earning 1% per day compounding. And that's to answer someone's question up above. Yes, it is auto rebasing. It is 1% at the moment, and it auto compounds. Alright. Sandalwooding, baby. Yes, Paris.
Good.
You are
Sounds
indeed.
good. I mentioned the price. I don't know if that's exact 30, 60, 120 or whatever, but that was like a rough guide I gave them.
Yeah, 100%. If you want to put more in, then yeah. The first time you complete the ritual, about 30 incense, and every 24 hours you'll be able to go back to collect more incense and increase the amount you want to put in. So hardwood. Yeah, maybe that'll be in a future release. We'll let you collect hardwood to sacrifice. We'll need to prepare the temple versions for that one. So 30 incense is worth 30,000 francs. You know, you can sacrifice 30,000 francs if you have 30 incense. Yeah. Puzzles on Matic, get your sandalwood and then bridge it across to mainnet. You come to the TempleDAO, you hand over your sandalwood ERC20, you hand over your frax, or you zap in some other stablecoin, and you end up with some staked temple. Yeah, A16Z, they're still getting verified. It's unfortunate. Hopefully they pop on voice verify soon and get some help. Alright. What more questions do you have? What else can we tell you about the ritual? A16Z in your DM space. My man.
Cross-chain adventure. You know, I think one concept that you guys are probably noticing is that every ritual that we develop, we're kind of expanding the temple world, right? So, you know, we're building some things out on Polygon for the adventure. You know, there's more. You'll see. There's more happening. There'll be more to explore and play with. And so, one thing we're going to move into is a monthly release model. You know, so the first release was the fire ritual. Second release is the opening ceremony. We haven't named the third release yet. Codename 02. Starts at 00. But with every release, you know, we're launching a new product and also expanding the temple in different ways, right? So I hope you guys see that and kind of get that this cadence we're moving into.
100%, yeah. And let's talk a little bit about that. Maybe first I'll answer Temple Boy's question here. You know, will 30 incense not create whales? The intent is to give everyone a fair chance to access the ritual and access temple at the lowest price, and that's why the limit is 30 incense for the first day. But also, fair access means fair access for everyone. If you have some giant bags or you have some small bags, you know, the temple is welcome for all. So that's why every day the amount of incense you can burn doubles. And so if you want to get in early with larger bags, sure, you're welcome. If you want to get in quickly with a smaller amount, well, you have a chance to get in before the price, you know, rises too high. So that was the fairest we could make it for people of all sizes. That was the intent. Yeah. So projects, man. I think it's really important to talk a little bit about this because at the moment we've been really leaning into the community, the social fi, the chaos element a little bit, right? There's been some really long Medium posts talking about some crazy concepts. And I think it's important to bring it back and just have a moment to talk about really the heart of Temple. It's easy to get lost in all of this cultish behavior. So these monthly releases, which will be around every new moon, are going to be really, really important for us bringing a little bit of focus to what we want to develop in Temple every month. So the very first release, 00, was where we got our core Temple mechanics up. And we had the auto rebasing 1%. We had the core Temple mechanics around staking, buying, minting. locking, and so on. And that was obviously focused on the core mechanics of Temple, as we explained in those early Medium articles. Our intent, which would have made sense, our intent was to then spend the next release, Release 01, the opening ceremony, on pushing those core mechanics further. That meant, bringing Temple offense online, refining the staking, the execute, a few other contracts that we wanted to put some more work into relating to core Temple mechanics. Instead, we flipped and instead invested in the community and governance space because we just saw so much potential in the community and so much opportunity to bring fantastic people on board so that we could more quickly build the temple. If we had have continued the way that we were, it would have meant that we were limited by the size of the team and we wouldn't have been able to bring as many ideas on board as quickly as we could otherwise. So what we did was we refocused and we put a lot of effort into setting up the enclaves, setting up the process which encourages participation in the enclaves, getting people to join the enclaves, and so on. So that's why over the last few weeks we've chosen to Island Boy, my man. So that's sort of why over the last few weeks we have chosen to focus on the social fi element. But it's now that we've pushed that really far in this release, what comes next is we need to come back to the core. The next release is going to be focusing on core temple, offense, defense, execute, some further innovations in execute, such as the ability to sell OTC, your state temple, more innovation around locking and so on the community has been asking for. The next priority after that, so after we get the core temple mechanics further improved, the next step is the treasury growth focus. And so we have our first original plan here, which is to set up the ability to stake any asset. We've made progress on that front, and it's going to be an important part of Temple in the future. But we also have a couple of other areas to grow Temple Treasury, which is possibly going to come hard and fast after our core Temple mechanics, which relate to this price stability as a service, as well as I'm pausing because Lux is going to kill me again if I say too much on these two topics. But let's just say that there are 3 different areas that we have projects in that are all focused on Temple Treasury growth. And now that we're getting the Enclaves set up, we're going to be working with the Enclaves in order to get those launched and have them as ways to continue growing Treasury. And yeah, you're going to grow, Scoop. You're going to grow. So that is our second priority. First priority, core temple mechanics. Second priority, expansion to the temple, which focuses on growing treasury. And the third priority is taking this social fi and ritual concept deeper, which we see some opportunities here to both create an in-temple economy, which is a revenue generation source for Temple itself. GameFi is going to be massive in the next few years, and we see an opportunity to have a particular blend of GameFi that is chill, not about stupid farming. We don't believe in rank farming. We don't believe in game farming, but a really chill, fun, community-driven GameFi model that will also grow treasury. But that's further down the track, right? I mean, we've got to do this in the right order. The first priority is core temple mechanics. The second priority is projects which help grow and expand Treasury. And the third priority is to take this social fi and innovate so that we can use that as another source of growth of both the community and the Treasury, and therefore the rewards. And that's what we want all the Enclaves to help us with. So, we've got quite a lot of ambition here, and we need to expand the team. We need to get more people involved, and that's why we've launched the Enclave, so that we can have more people engaged and help us build this. Because, there's a ton of opportunity in blockchain right now, and we want to play. We want to play LFG.
Okay, sweet. So I can talk about the Enclaves quickly. What else? What do you think?
Yeah, do it, man. What? Unless there's any other questions, is there any questions around that roadmap or around the ritual, around priorities? Does anyone have anything they want to throw in?
Should we get a rough day when the games begin?
Yeah, sick. So, and this is an important point. Everything around the roadmap there, there's a lot of shit going on. If you just want to get into the temple, get in at the best price, and stake and chill, then complete the opening ceremony, stake your temple, and chill, and that's fine. You'll benefit from all the hard work of the Enclaves that grow the temple, because you'll be staking and you'll be chilling. So, if you get in the temple, you're going to make it.
Yeah, that's it. No need to solve puzzle if you're duelist, right? We'll skip that one. What's the best way? Okay, so I'll talk quickly about Enclaves. Those of you in Discord, which are all you, if you scroll down on the left, you'll see the first channels have started for the Enclaves. And there's going to be a process during the opening ceremony so on joining an Enclave. So that's how it's going to happen in the opening ceremony. So, and each Enclave has, if you read the Medium post, has a specific temperament and a specific focus. So, part of it is each of you kind of reflecting on who you are and deciding which path you want to take, right? And so, you'll see these Enclaves kind of expand each day here. Eventually, the whole of Discord is going to be based on these Enclaves, right? So, Discord V1 is basically what we've had up until this point, and Discord V2, we're starting to ship it this week, so it'll eventually kind of change totally. And if you have questions about what Enclave to be in and stuff, just kind of wait until the opening ceremony. There'll be more information in that process. And is there criteria for joining the Enclave? Similar to the fire ritual, the core thing is going to be around contribution, right? Because the Enclaves are really the groups of people and community that are doing the temple works, right? So every new moon, the plan is to have a release, and those releases are going to be built by the Enclaves. And there'll be different tiers, right? If you're just a member of an Enclave, that's fine. You can hang out, but there'll be people in the Enclave that are really focused on developing the mechanics or on the design or whatever it is. And you can get as involved as you want. That's kind of the idea. Everyone's gonna have a main Enclave. I'm in a few Enclaves at the moment, but we'll have to figure that out if you can be in 2 Enclaves, but everyone's gonna have a main Enclave to start and maybe some additional ones. And basically Discord will be built on that model, and the way that the releases are developed and launched, it's gonna be built on that model. And it should be a kind of place where you feel comfortable, right? The idea is that everyone has a particular temperament, and that the Enclaves will be a representation of that. So you'll find your people, in the temple. Anything you want to add to that, Desan, or what?
No, spot on. The Enclaves are meant to be a place that is where you can find out information about progress of the temple, but it's also a lot of the places in Discord right now that, you know, have a lot of activity will naturally fall within certain enclaves. So the crew that really enjoys hanging out in Product Talk is going to be managed by the Enclave of Logic. So if you hang out there, you'll be hanging out in the Logic Enclave. That's totally cool. If you really enjoy being in, you know, Voice Verify and, you know, hanging out with that crew, well, that's part of the Enclave of Chaos to manage, you know, those kinds of, what do we even call that shit? No one knows, but it's good. So whatever that Voice Verify thing is that's going on, the Temple live radio channel, you know, projects like that is Enclaves of Chaos Jams. So you want to hang out in places like that, then you can continue doing so, and you'll also get part of the Enclave's Inside Alpha, because you'll have visibility over some channels that only people that are in the Enclave have visibility over. So once you join an Enclave, you get a little bit of Enclave Alpha.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, that's basically it. We'll release more as we go. Like, we just added some disciples to the Enclave of Chaos today. Disciples of Chaos, they're helping manage the Verify voice, like muting people that need to be muted. So, yeah, you'll kind of get a feel for it. Different people doing different things. Decent, do you want to talk about this question? Is what the APY will be for AMM purchases?
Yeah, totally. We're still settling on that. Exactly how high or low we put it. It's going to be somewhere in between 0% and 3,700%. Does that give an answer?
So we need to decide still. Yeah.
Votes. What do people think? I mean, the reason why the APY for staking on the AMM is lower is because we wanted to make it fair for people that complete the opening ritual, that, you know, they have a real benefit there for doing so. But if people buy on the AMM, we don't want to give nothing. That's of course a valid way to play. So, what do you reckon, people? How high should it be? The APY for those that go through the ritual will be 3,700% or 1% per day compounding. Gap and go votes 0.5% per day, half, 500%, equal to your base, my man. 1/3.
Jackson minus 3,000%.
10%. We have quite a range out there, guys. This is as big a range as I gave you.
Yeah. Someone asked a question here, Decent. It said, it's in the private one. So what's the advantage of being a ritualist burning 2 to 5K at the end of the fire ritual when a whale can now just enter and in 2 days buy temple for 90K for almost the same price as the mentioned ritualists?
So, good question. If you got in on the fire ritual, you had a specific point in time where you could buy. You had a locked-in price. There was no rush. It was easy because the number of people were limited. You had absolute confidence on your price. In the opening ceremony, the first people that complete the puzzle will be able to sacrifice $30,000 of fracks at only a slightly higher price than the last fire ritualist. So they'll still get a higher price, but only a slightly higher price. If you want to dump a lot of fracks into the protocol, you can put 30,000 fracks in on day one, and then 24 hours later you can pick up more incense. 24 hours later you can pick up more incense. But of course the price will be rising over that time. And we don't know how quickly it will rise. It depends how many people complete the opening ceremony. So the fire ritual, I would say, is a guaranteed price. The opening ceremony, the price will depend because it's open access and anyone can participate. The price will depend on how quickly you complete it and how many people completed it before you. So, I think it's a good balance. The fire ritual was great to be involved in because you have a guarantee. This will still be, we haven't even launched yet, right? So we're still very, very early. But the earlier you get in on the opening ceremony, the cheaper the price. So, and because you're limited at 30 incense on day one, no one's going to be able to drop, 10 mil of frax on day one and bump up the price too high immediately. It's going to take a lot of people to raise the price because in the first 24 hours, everyone's limited to 30,000 frax. Does that answer that question, Lost?
Yeah, Alexander sent it, so we'll see if he hits me up.
Hey, Boffin, I see you've got a request for good microphones. If anyone out there is an expert on getting super high quality voice mod setups, DM us, and we will take all recommendations on microphones and setup. So if you're an expert in that area, hit us up. Obviously, we are not experts in audio.
Yeah, I mean, this is just my real voice, so it sounds good, but Decent's got a voice mod on. No problem. Shut on expert audiences. Okay, any more questions? We got a little more time here. Let's see. How can you protect Templars from burning bogus incense? Yeah, of course. It's gonna be. It won't be bogus.
So the incense is an ERC20 contract, and so you need to get the proper sandalwood ERC20. And if you get hold of that, and we'll give the contract address and so on. If you get hold of that, then you can sacrifice. If you don't have the right sandalwood, then you don't have the ability to sacrifice frax. If you don't bring incense, how can you complete the sacrifice? It makes no sense.
Decent, this is a good question. It says, so the price will raise during the day, or is it the same price for day one and then another price for day two?
Yeah, cool. So harvest will run at roughly 1 to 2% of treasury. So every 1 to 2% of treasury growth, harvest will run and the price will rise. So it's not recalculated daily. It was recalculated daily during the fire ritual because it was created so that around that, that the amount of frax needed to run harvest was about the amount that was collected every fire ritual, and so harvest was run every 24 hours. In this case, harvest will run automatically based on how much the treasury has grown. So if a lot of people all come in doing $30,000 sacrifices, then after a certain number of those sacrifices, harvest will run, the price will raise, and that could happen a number of times in one day if a lot of people all complete the ritual, or it might take a few days to run if it takes a few days for enough money to come into treasury and for harvest to trigger.
Yeah, so multiple times per day, possibly. We don't really have a formal relationship with TempleDAO or Klima or Wonderland. I know a lot of people think we do because we kind of started in that general direction, but we're connected to each of those teams, but we don't have a formal thing like Klima and Olympus has. That might change. Like there's projects we're kind of looking at, but at the moment, I think That's correct. Do someone you add to that or not?
Yeah, no, nothing to add.
Yeah, so that's in that. Let's take a look here. Any more questions? What will be the price of sandalwood? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's true. So the reason why we did an ERC20 instead of an NFT for incense is so that you can share it. Yeah, there's nothing stopping you from transferring or even selling sandalwood to someone else. But the problem is, if you want to get more sandalwood, if you want to, let's say that you wanted to put in more than 30,000 fracks and you wanted to burn more incense, then you cannot collect more incense unless you've burned all of your incense. You know what I'm saying? So if you give away some, you can't burn it all. And if you can't burn it all, you can't collect any more. And so if you have burnt as much as you want to and you have a little bit of incense left over, yeah, you can share that with a friend, you can sell it, you can do whatever you want. That's yours. That's your incense. You can do whatever you want with it. Just don't give any away before you've finished burning as much as you want, because you won't be able to collect any more incense once you've given any away, because you need to burn your entire amount in order to collect more the next day.
Exactly. And we'll put very specific details about that in the Medium post so you can get more just the right sandalwood.
We won't be putting up an LP for incense. That's on you. You're gonna have to find someone that wants to buy it.
Yeah.
It's not really intended to be traded, right? This is a sacred ritual object, but that's up to you.
One puzzle. 6. Yeah, okay. That's it for me. Okay.
Temple Station. All right. NBS, just keep typing, verify. You're gonna make it. Don't worry. Don't worry. Will every entry be a different puzzle, or would I be able to enter with multiple wallets using the same answer? So you do need to go through Discord in order to participate. So yeah.
Yeah, we should maybe talk about. You could talk about bots and like multiple wallets. I think that's a good topic.
Yeah, well, I mean, the more you describe things with bots, the more bots get ideas about different ways to, be a bot. So maybe we won't talk too much about that one, but
yeah,
it shouldn't be very easy. This should be pretty bot proof.
Yeah, once you think we'll have the Medium post out, do send. Thinking maybe.
Yeah, in the next 24 hours, we'll have a Medium post with all of the opening ceremony details. But you've got the deets here. This is the info you need to start the opening ceremony. Good luck, Templars. You're gonna need it.
Why is the team so determined to not even discuss their experience in crypto? Will we ask the question? Yeah. Okay. Few more minutes. So, my experience in crypto was like I'm pretty young, right? a full-on degen before, so I did a lot of degenning. And I was involved in some NFT startups and projects I was helping out in, and a lot of internet background. But yeah, I mean, I think when I'm done high school, maybe I'll take it more full-time, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, I think we're good? Probably good, eh?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, thanks everyone.